Hi everyone, it's Janet and welcome to my channel. I hope you're having a great day. Today I'm going to take you through how to make some underwater scene cards. This is so popular right now, and I'm going to give you some tips and tricks to take your underwater scenes and make them a little bit more amazing. First, I'd like to show you the two cards I'm going to be making today. These are so cute, and they are, like I said, underwater scenes with a lot of character and fun to them. So let's get started, shall we? This is the new Submarine Cubbies set from Art Impressions. It comes with the submarine and all the critters that you see here. It also comes with the dies, which I appreciate. And the cool thing about this is that the dies will cut out the portals and the windows so that you can put your little characters inside, or you can refill them with the windows if you'd like for that look. Now I'm going to start by taking an A2 sized piece of printed paper, which looks like water, and I'm going to use this My Favorite Things Perfect Pool Water stencil. I secured the piece of paper down with a couple loops of washi tape, and I'm going to secure the stencil itself also with washi tape, and this will keep everything from moving around as I'm applying the Versamark ink. I'm using the mini domed ink blending foam on my ink blending tool for the first time, and I'm really finding that I like it. That dome just allows you to get into the little nooks and crannies of the stencil easier, especially the little nooks and crannies, and I find that pouncing up and down rather than moving side to side works really well. And I had great luck doing this with the stencil and again the Versamark. So the point of the whole thing is that I want to put clear embossing powder on this piece of paper, heat that up, melt it, and it will create then a very shiny surface that looks like it's wet, and which again would be more reminiscent of water. I thought it would be a fun effect to try on, cardstock that already looks like water. Now this looks a little weird. You see all the white showing up? I thought at first that it was something wrong with my embossing powder, but it turns out it was just the print and how it looked with the embossing powder over it. Once it's melted, it looks just fine and normal again. I almost threw it out, and I'm glad that I didn't, because I just didn't think that white was so prevalent, but it really showed up when I put the powder on. Now I used that loop, the loops, and I put two loops of tape behind this piece of paper when I attached it to my glass mat. But then I use those loops to hold on to the paper as I'm heating embossing it. It works really well. That way you don't have to touch it. It also protects your fingers a little bit. So that's a tip that I'm happy to share with you. And you can see how shiny and pretty this turned out. I just love all the shine and dimension. Now for my cards, I'm using Summer Splash. It's an Echo Park paper, and there's another piece that I just wanted to show you how different it looks, treated with the embossing powder using the stencil than it was just plain. I mean, it's huge the difference it makes. So again, here's the plain paper from the first one and the second one embossed. Again, just look at the huge difference. I'm going back now to the A2 size card, and I'm going to apply a little bit of decorative paper and use this piece of recycled card. It actually came from a card I got years ago to put onto this as a background, just an accent for the background actually. That paper also came from the Summer Splash collection. Now I'm going to start readying my little submarine with all the little critters, and it just takes a little bit of glue to tack these in. If you're using a good quality glue like art glitter glue, you don't need a lot. I just put a little bit on the characters themselves, maybe a little on the frames of some of the windows to get them attached in the submarine. And I want them to just be sort of peeking out. They're kind of half in and half out. You could also place them entirely on the inside and just have their little faces showing as if they were passengers. I think that would work too. I didn't even really try that because I thought it would be fun to have them sort of kind of in and out. They're sea creatures, so they don't have to be inside necessarily, right? And of course, this isn't anything about realism. It's all about cuteness, so we can do whatever we want. All right, so I do have some of those windows that I mentioned in the beginning that I'm going to attach in the back of some of the characters on the submarine. And that's just so that it kind of looks like the window in the background instead of seeing the paper. In the case of the A2 size card, the paper I used is quite dark, and I think it would look a little strange. In the other card the paper was lighter in color, and I didn't mind seeing a little bit of the paper coming through the portal windows. So it just depends on what you like and if that bothers you or not, whether you put those portals back in. Now I'm working on the sentiment. It says, "I love you deeper than the ocean," and this came from the stamp set, of course. And I used the circle double stitch dies from Art Impressions to create that. Now I'm going to place that with my submarine. I have double-sided foam tape on the back of the submarine already. And I just want to kind of cluster these two things together at sort of separate angles a little bit. And I'll tack that sentiment down. And now I can start working on all my character placement. I had previously sort of laid them out and kind of figured out approximately where I wanted them. You know, I changed my mind a little bit here and there, but not too much. You'll notice I use my tweezers with this. I just really enjoy using tweezers with little pieces because it allows me to pick them up easy, place them easy, and my big fingers don't get in the way. Actually, I have kind of little fingers, but when you're dealing with these little things, even little fingers seem big. Anyway, I did want to point out that these cute little bubbles, now that's a stamp and a matching die in this set, and I just love them. They really kind of act like sequins or you know, some kind of decorative element because it allows you to sort of fill in spaces and give it a little more interest. I really enjoyed using them, which surprised me. I thought when I initially saw them, who needs these little tiny bubbles? I can draw them. I was wrong. They're fabulous. So now it's time to put the panel onto the A2 sized card base. I made my card base using a basis card stock. It's 80 pound and this color is called Aqua. And that finishes off my first card for you. So I'm on now to my second card, and this is square, and I'm applying the embossed piece of cardstock that I did earlier onto silk glitter paper. This is called Sparkling Water Aqua, and it's so pretty. I decided to create some sand for my card as well, and this is just glitter paper in gold that I tore. Remember that technique? It's an oldie but a goodie. And then I just used a little bit of brown ink at the top to add a little bit of interest and take off the stark whiteness of the torn paper. I thought I was going to use 2 layers of this, but it turned out that I actually created 3. Because when I put the second one down, I thought there was too much space. So then I went ahead and tore again that third piece, which is actually going to go in the middle. And to kind of judge where that should go, this time I laid it up against the larger piece so that I could decide how far away from that top it would be, and then just sliced it off so that I could then layer them up like you see here. Then of course I glued them together one on top of the other to create the sand piece. And I really like the look of the gold glitter to create sand in a fantasy piece like this. It just adds some additional shine, and it looks nice. It adds a lot of texture. Alright, so I'm going to glue that down at the bottom, and then I can start preparing the rest of my scene. So basically I've got the background done. So I did that. I followed the same process as I showed you in the first card. I have a slightly different sentiment this time. It says, "Swimming by to say hi." And also this time with the bubbles, I actually stamped and cut them out on the glitter paper, and I love how that turned out. I'm going to apply this on a card base that I made also with basis. This is blue basis, 80 pound cardstock again, perfect for card making. And it comes in so many colors, so this is my favorite card base cardstock in my collection. So I did not like how I first put the card panel on, so I took it apart and did it again. That's the beauty of using liquid glue, because you could definitely not do that as easily if you were using ATG or snail adhesive. Now next I wanted to add a little more character to the bottom of my sand, and so I have these shell sequins. I got them and the pearls that I'm going to use here from Eyelet Outlet. They have so many cool little things you can use to embellish your cards, but I did think that some additional shells with some pearls would be a cute addition on it, and I did like the result of that. You'll notice that I did use some art glitter glue behind the pearls, and that's just because sometimes glitter paper doesn't adhere to other things very well. So I just find that using a little bit of art glitter glue behind embellishments on glitter paper works like a charm. And so that basically finishes up my second card. Isn't it fun? I just love this set. So here again are the two cards together. They both have that shininess, a lot of texture, a lot of cuteness going on. Again, these sets are adorable. You'll find them at the store or at the link that I've put at the bottom of my video description. Well, thanks again for joining me today. I hope you learned a few things and enjoyed seeing this new set in action. If you like this video, give me a thumbs up, make a comment, and please subscribe if you haven't already. I'll be back soon with another video. Bye.